Hello there, my beautiful friends. Welcome back to the Duality of Life podcast. My name is Julia. Super grateful to welcome you into this one. I figured today I just want to really allow space for the shame spirals. It is all too normal and common and human to find ourselves in these emotional spirals, whether that be shame or anger or anxiety, sadness, confusion, whatever the emotion that you typically struggle or feel frequently. It is so normal and human to experience those things. And I just want to allow space and acceptance. Maybe acceptance doesn't resonate with you, but compassion for these feelings and these emotions and this human experience that you have. Because all too often, these experiences of these difficult emotions and finding ourselves in these thought loops around these difficult emotions is really isolating. It is a trick that I think these emotions, trauma, different mental health conditions, physical illnesses that are perpetual, find kind of add and we find ourselves in because of these situations. I know it's really difficult when you're in that emotion, when you're in that experience, to find an ounce of love for yourself, find an ounce of acceptance or compassion because you're in it, It's really difficult to pull yourself out of it. And we create a narrative in our mind about these situations that we're in. We get ourselves, or not to blame, but we find ourselves in these situations, in these spirals, and then we spiral about the fact that we're spiraling. And we're like, oh, but I have to work. Oh, but I have to make dinner. Oh, but I have to take care of my kids. Oh, I have to, do this and drive here. And I've promised this person and that person. And it's, all too much. If for somebody that's more prone to avoidance, for instance, we may be able to cope by shoving those emotions down, propelling ourselves forward, but isolating ourselves in the meantime. So we may get done what we need to get done, but we isolate ourselves because we do actually feel overwhelmed. Our nervous system is overwhelmed, but because we've learned to cope by pushing things down, then we want to just separate ourselves so that way we're not continually triggered or put in situations that these emotions are heightened or brought out of us, because it's scary to have those emotions come out. If we're a little bit more people pleaser or anxiously attached, we may be trying to over-explain why we're feeling this way. We may be trying to, make people understand us so that way we feel acceptance inside of ourselves because they're accepting us. We're trying to seek that external validation. And both things can be true at once. We can have these more people pleaser, anxiety prone mechanisms or coping mechanisms, and also isolate as well. And it's, again, just trying to protect ourselves. At the end of the day, what our brain and body want is to keep us safe. We need to keep ourselves safe. And so we develop all of these, coping mechanisms and things to keep ourselves safe. It is not you. It's not your fault. It's not because you're like this is why everything is bad. Absolutely not. Your brain and your body just want to stay safe. And so naturally, it wants to avoid, it wants to hide, it wants to explain, it wants a reason to why we are feeling these things. It wants to understand, or it wants to hide from these emotions. And that's okay. That is human. It's going to do no one anything by shaming and blaming and being mad at ourselves about the emotions and about the coping mechanisms. So recognizing our inner dialogue, the last episode that I did was all about our inner voice. So recognizing when that inner voice is, becoming quite intense or detrimental to ourselves is really, really important. And if you want to check out that last episode, please do so. Highly recommend it. Gave a bunch of examples about how certain inner dialogue may be seen as positive or useful, but is actually quite shame-bound. So check that out. Could have a little surprise in there for you and crack some codes inside of your mind. But there's an essence of just recognizing that all of these emotions are human. It's never going to completely go away. Healing isn't something that has an end goal or an end point. And that's why I don't particularly love the term healing, although I use it quite often because I don't know how else to intellectualize it or to speak of it. But I feel like it kind of emphasizes that there's an endpoint. There's a healed version of you. And of course, there are different patterns and mechanisms and beliefs and thoughts that we can soothe and comfort, and they can slowly diminish over a period of time. But there is a constant evolution of self. We're going to continue to experience things in this life that are difficult. We may get over one trauma or be able to hold space a lot more actively and positively and lovingly and acceptingly for one version and one part of ourselves. But then something traumatic happens in our 30s or in our 40s or 50s that creates a whole other array of issues for us. And unfortunately, that's life. But it means that you're not broken. There's nothing wrong with you for feeling these things or experiencing things. It's all too human. And your humanness is just a part of this greater humanity that we are all in. Your human experience is not odd or different or freakish. It is you just being a normal human. And so that shame is trying to protect you from something. That shame that we are experiencing is trying to help us be able to mend things. It's helping us to protect ourselves, because if we can see what we've done wrong, if we can see and point out where we are messing up or where we are experiencing, or rather acting out in some, unacceptable societal standard way, if we can see where those patterns are inside of us, then we can stop it, we can fix it, and then therefore we'll be acceptable and lovable and chosen by the outside world. Shame is trying to protect us. Anger is this reach for being heard, being seen, being able to express yourself and your opinions, and it's a cry to be heard, So when we're experiencing these emotions, being able to frame them as just human and not freakish or odd or something that you have to change, but you can hold space for, and recognizing where in your life you can give up in a way. If you're having a really bad shame spirally day, and you're trying to work and you're trying to show up in the way that you normally could or normally would when you're not in a shame spiral, and then we're shaming ourselves for being in the shame spiral because we need to get done what we need to get done, yes, there's a reality to that. We need to get done what we need to get done, unfortunately. But knowing when to hold space for yourself is extremely important. Maybe you can add a 15-minute walk into the day to just talk to yourself kindly. Listen to this episode. Listen to some other, calming, meditative, whatever it is, And I know a lot of people listening to this already know this, but it's all about support, This is what I'm trying to do here on the internet space, is just provide support and kindness and love into this space, so that way you can pop in your headphones or put it on your laptop or your phone and just hear kind words coming towards you. There's a layer at which we are going to have struggles when we are in the spirals to speak to ourselves kindly, because we need to be able to fix it. We want to be able to solve the problem or hide away from the problem, push down the problem, so that way we don't have to feel it. Because to feel it is really difficult and scary. But adding an ounce of acceptance from the outside world, an ounce of compassion from the outside world, can really help flip the script, can really help emphasize that we are just actually in a shame spiral, that we are just actually in a little bit of a depressive episode or an anxiety-induced state, and remind us of who the fuck we are. Sometimes we just need to be reminded of who we are. Because there's, as cliche as it is, nobody else is you. You are not anyone else. And your experience is valuable. You have inherent worth. Although we may experience things and situations, traumatic events that strip us of that worth. I think a lot of people have a worth wound because we're told that we should be or should show up or should act a particular way to be acceptable by society or our family or our friend group, our peer group, the online internet. We're always told that we should be, and we're not told enough that we already are. You already are worthy. You do not need to be perfect. You do not need to be anything else other than what you are to be loved. And when we're in these shame spirals, when we're in these difficult emotion spirals, we want to fix it so that way we can feel better, so that way we can feel accepted by the outside world, by ourselves, so that way we can integrate with society at some higher level of being. But there is also connection in our difficulty. Because you're human and because your experience is not singular, other people feel this too. And this is also why I share, because I know that I feel it. I know that I get in shame spirals. And to think that I'm the only one is ridiculous. I know you do too. I know we all do. To know that, to feel that, and to know that your humanness does not make you any less lovable and worthy. In fact, there's even more connection and resonance in it because, oh, you've had that thought as well? You've experienced that thing as well? I feel like I know you more. I feel like we can connect more because it's not just about our accomplishments. It's not just about our positive life or, good things going on. And yes, sometimes it's really difficult to hold space for other people, especially when those other people have hurt us. And that's also not necessarily your responsibility. Recognizing that is very important. And that's where slowly but surely we can start naming and identifying our boundaries. And that is a really beautiful and important thing to do. Shame actually is one of the emotions that in John Bradshaw's work, he emphasizes help us create boundaries because it lets us know where our limits are. Oh, we did this thing and that made us feel ashamed. That made us feel afraid or whatever the case is. When we can identify when those emotions boil over in us, we can better then be able to identify where we need to put healthy boundaries in place. Because a lot of the time we're going to fall into these coping mechanisms to kind of hold ourselves and protect ourselves instead of falling into our healthy boundaries to protect ourselves and love ourselves. And it's a really, really difficult, complex, messy, soupy weirdness to figure out, and that's okay. It's not about figuring it out all at once. Allowing yourself to be curious, allowing yourself to hold space, allowing yourself to remind yourself that you're human, allowing yourself to speak to yourself kindly in these moments and know that it's okay that you're acting out of this coping mechanism. It's okay that this emotion is coming up due to this trigger. And we may also, if we've struggled with dissociation in the past, if we struggle with avoidance, we may not even know exactly where our triggers are. And that's a whole other, can of soup to open and to explore and to taste and to touch and to feel. Because naturally our coping mechanism is to kind of shove it away. We kind of need to slowly be curious about those parts of ourselves. And it is not a one moment, aha, snap of the fingers, wake up type of situation. We may have small moments of that where something clicks, where we just understand something now, where something was explained a particular way, but the process at which we are experiencing life is a day-by-day basis of perceived time. And you don't have to have everything figured out to pursue your goals, to pursue love, to pursue friendship, to pursue any of it. As long as you are allowing yourself, be curious about who you are. That is so beautiful and powerful. It's not about solving the problem or coming up with the perfect answer or being perfect to present yourself in some amazing way, but just holding a layer of curiosity. That can open the door for so much. Slowly shift that idea of healing or work into something that's a lot more approachable, because I'm just asking a question. Oh, I just wonder about this. Is that connected to that? It's okay. Because I think if we allow ourselves to be curious, there is space to just bounce around ideas instead of coming to conclusions. If we're continually coming to conclusions about ourselves, we're constantly adding labels to ourselves, we find ourselves kind of putting ourselves into boxes again. And although certain psychological and philosophical frameworks can be extremely useful to identify patterns and mechanisms and coping strategies, it can be extremely useful. And there's so many archetypes at which we can fall under and resonate with and understand ourselves a little bit better through. But not attaching ourselves to the labels, not allowing ourselves to fall into that archetype as if it is us. It is a part of this human experience that we can resonate with. And because there's billions of people in this world, and because we're all human, we're gonna have similar strategies of coping because of this trauma or this, mechanism inside of the brain. And because of that, we can put labels to things and we can categorize things in a neat manner and understand other people and ourselves through these kind of categorical boxes. But you are still you, and you are still the only you. And through that version of being the only you ever in the entire universe that we're aware of, not to get that we're aware of, we don't have to over-identify. We don't have to ruminate on these parts of ourselves as if we are that. We can see it as an archetype that we fall under that can help us understand ourselves more. But it doesn't mean we have to identify with it. When we're curious, we can allow ourselves to try new things. Try something that maybe feels a little weird or uncomfortable or questionable to us, but we decide because we're curious, because we want to allow ourselves space to experiment in this world, we're going to try it anyways, just to see how it makes us feel. Just to see how that thing makes us feel. To be honest and open about how different things make you feel is a process, but something that you are capable of, something that we are all capable of. The sensations, the thoughts, the bodily humanness that we are is something that we can all feel into because we have the ability to. And different things are going to make us feel different ways. Somebody is going to really love huge group events where there's just a million people everywhere and you get to, experience that. Some people are going to love that. Other people much prefer quieter, intimate conversations one-on-one. Be honest about how these different things make you feel and don't identify with the label at which one is maybe better or worse than another in your own mind. Oh, people that really enjoy crowds, oh, they're just, like this. Or people that only enjoy intimate conversations one-on-one only are this type of person. Why? Why can't you be you and just like what you like? And be honest about liking what you like. And stay curious also about liking what you like. Maybe if you're somebody that enjoys more intimate conversation, throw yourself in a social situation every once in a while just to test it out. If you're somebody that prefers more larger group gatherings, hang out with somebody one-on-one a little bit more. Maybe not a little bit more, but every once in a while. See how that makes you feel. Of course, these are small, in a way, examples of this. But if you don't think you're an artsy-fartsy person, go with your artsy-fartsy friend to a craft night. Well, once a year. See how it makes you feel. And just be honest about it. Does it make you uncomfortable because maybe you just genuinely don't like it and it's not your thing and that's cool? Or maybe you've noticed that you keep on thinking about this past version of you that was angry because your ex-partner put more love and attention into their art than you, and then now you resent art or whatever it is. Being curious, being open, being honest with yourself, it's a process. And it's okay that you don't do it perfectly. But that's why revisiting things and reminding yourself to stay open and hold that space for yourself. Why I'm doing this right now is because we may be in a shame spiral currently, and you just need to be reminded of that. And these simple reminders are here for a reason. To just support you in the process of the difficult emotions, of the spirals, to allow space, to allow acceptance, compassion, to penetrate those difficult emotions and be like, hey, remember me? This is also possible. And it's okay that you feel like that, but maybe you need to go for a walk, or maybe you need to call a friend. Maybe you need to just make plans and not talk about it. Sometimes we just need to leave the house. We need to get a sweat on or try a new activity that takes our mind away from the issue at hand. And it's not about distraction, but it's about allowing yourself some separation from the emotion. And if you're avoidant, maybe allowing yourself to lean into the emotion, giving yourself space to feel it, maybe dedicating yourself to a night in where you decide that you're gonna dance or color or these are my coping mechanisms, but something that resonates with you that will allow you to feel the emotion. We all need different things, and we're all a weird soupy mess of humanness, and we all got to figure out our own ways of moving through these things. But I hope today that I could give you a little softness, a little love, a little compassion through your headphones or laptop or whatever device you're listening to this, and just remind you that it's okay. It's okay to experience the things that you are. It's okay to feel the things that you are. You are human, and that humanness is not flawed or weird or different or odd or disgusting. It is just human. And the yucky feelings suck. But you're not alone. You are far, far, far from alone. I'm sending you so much love. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day, and I hope to see you again so very soon. If you have any links that you want to tap on, they'll be down in the description box or show notes for you. And yeah, sending you lots of love. Bye.